Phenomena. Phenomena. Hello, this is Dino Lopez. In this screencast, we want to create an easy Rails runner application. What I mean with a runner application, basically there's a couple different ways you can interact with a Ruby on Rails application. Ruby comes by default with the IRB, which is some kind of shell interpreter where you can actually enter Ruby commands and interact with the Ruby shell. When you create a Rails application, you have accessible to you, of course, the web interface, but also you have the script console, which is pretty much the environment variables of your Rails application running from the command from the console. And here is where we can actually take this to the next level and make this using the script runner script, parse those parameters and run it directly from the command line in a Linux application, a Linux box or Unix box. This is the instructions that we want to follow in this tutorial. We want to basically create a runner application, Rails applications. We want to go to the directory, we configure the database, we create a database, we generate. For the purpose of this screencast, I choose to see this website, which is GData, an online MD5 hash database. It has a lot of entries, and basically what it does is a MD5 generator from different common variables. So basically an MD5 cannot be reversed, but using a database like this, it can be guessed. That's one of the reasons why the new crypto libraries have to use some kind of salt and pepper or some kind of random variables to actually make it more complex, because if it's just one way, a little database like this or a big database like this actually can reverse it very quickly. So in our Rails runner applications, what we want to try to do is try to demonstrate the concept on how can we use the Ruby, the commands, the interaction with everything to actually populate our Rails applications with something like of this kind of type. The scope of this screencast is basic, so please, for all the medium and advanced users, keep in mind that we're not trying to steal your thunder from great algorithms. This is just basically a proof of concept for the basic enthusiast and Rails users. So please be aware of that when you post your comments in the website. So let's get started. Let's see what's happened with the MD5 at the beginning. I have a little shell application in a Linux box, which it happens to have PHP. Let me show this real quick. Of course, this is not going to be based on PHP, but let's do bimd5.php and just to prove the concept, echo md5 the ABC. So basically, I'm telling between the quotes on PHP, it says echo is just print on the screen the MD5 of the character ABC. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So if I run it, it returns this hash. Let me copy this hash until here, and if I go to this database, the hash cracker, and paste the hash and submit, it returns the ABC. So basically the ABC string generates this hash, which is 32 characters a string, and this is the hash. Of course I can just keep going, but as you can see, there's many combinations. So how can we try to generate something like this? In the Ruby world, this will look something like this. Let's say for the starters, in order to run in Ruby, we need to require a library that let me copy 10a. Let me copy my 10a.rb. That's what it's going to go. We need to require the library that the digest MD5. An MD5 test is going to run the digest function on, for the scope of this purpose. Let's do the same ABC and then it's going to print the result. So basically we include the library, we assign this variable making the function of the xdigest on some particular string, which could be a function and parts or something, could be whatever this ABC, and later we just put it in the screen. So in Ruby it will be exactly the same thing, the same result that we got, of course, in the PHP or Perl or Python or whatever you're using, as long as you're using the MD5 library. So we see right there how's the data going, how's the data working. So let's go ahead and go to our tutorial. Let's go ahead and create a Rails runner application using the database MySQL. So basically, let's create a runner right here very quickly. Let's change to the runner directory. For the purpose of config the database YAML, I want to basically have to change the root user and replace with your database user and your password. I'm not going to do this in the screencast. I'm just going to copy previously recorded just to avoid expose my password. Let's say runner. That will be good, and that will put the proper credentials. Let me create database reg db create, and that's when I create a database. Let's use the scaffold generator to generate our first set of this. This is going to be an MD5 table with two columns, the password and the MD5 hash called. Notice I'm not using hash only. I notice active record has a little problem with the hash variable, so beware, don't use just hash here. For some reason they don't like it. Let's do the migration, reg db migrate, and that will create a migration, of course, create the tables. And at this point I can of course interact with my application without any problem, right? Let's go ahead and launch it to the runner. That's the application, Ruby script server, and there it goes. It starts with brick. Let me go ahead and create me a new. There it goes, the default. I did not delete the index, but we know we can go directly here and we can create a new, let's say www. Pretty straightforward, 2 strings, nothing fancy. This is a basic Rails application. There is. So back to the demo. There's a way that we can call the IRB, which is the Ruby interpreter. An IRB, let's see. Actually, you can do something like puts hello world, and it just puts it there. However, this is not going to interact with our application directly. This is just a Ruby interpreter. In previous screencast, we saw one in Teach Me to Code, one of those that were talking about the blocks. They did an awesome job with the blocks. They interact with this a lot, and they use the IRB to actually enter some commands. But what I really want to do is use the console. Let's call the console at this point, which is interacting with a particular Rails application. So I want to run it from the runner. I want to run from the command line Ruby script console, and I'm passing the environment that it's going to be running on. So it's going to load the development environment, and at this point I can call something like, since MD5 is the table that was created, I can my model, I can do MD5 find all, and that should retrieve the current demo www password www hash. Of course, this is not an MD5 hash. We haven't put any validation or nothing like that. This is just the proof of concept coming from the web interface. So basically, I can interact with my application. Now, I also can create and do more things with this. So I can actually copy and assign to the variable I, MD5 is going to be a new, and assigning the parameters for the variable password assigned from console1, and for MD5 has console has 1. I can just enter, and what happens if I enter it? The application take it, okay. However, it's not reflected the changes yet on the web interface. And the reason why it's not affected is because this is not going to be active until we execute the save method under this variable. So if I do the save returns true, I go back to the web interface and refresh, and there he is. Now I can see what I just posted from the console. So now, what happened if instead of select new, I just choose, this is exactly the same line as the other one. The only thing I'm replacing is the new for create, and I don't need to assign to any variable. It's kind of saving one step. So this is just MD5.create password. Now it's from console2 to see the difference. MD5 has, console has. Let's see, let's copy this and paste it right here. And once I hit enter, notice it that the record has been automatically posted, and it's right here. Pretty cool. So the difference between the two is like this one was waiting until the method save, and the other one just went directly, passed through all the validations, of course, all the Rails validations, and then if it's valid, if we put some validations, this will return true or false and execute it. But this one actually did it on the fly. That's pretty cool. So what happened if this is between in the console, right? What happened if I'm in the command line and I like to execute something like this? This the same command as create, but I'm gonna run it from the command line. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do Ruby script runner, which is our application. And environment development is exactly the same environment that we run on the console. Later, when I just copy exactly the same line of the MD5 create. So if I take all this, copy it, and paste it directly in my shell, it probably inserts some extra characters. That's what I think happened. Yes, it put a command. Oh, don't we love Windows? Sorry, Mac users. Not everybody has a Mac. Well, actually, guys, I'm a PC, but I run Linux. So bear with me on this one. So let me paste this. Ruby script runner, environment development, MD5 create. Here we go. Password, MD hash, and runner and hash. Let me refresh just the web interface. There's nothing there yet. Okay. Let me go ahead and enter. This is actually running from my environment, from my shell. And when I come back and reload my application, there it goes from runner hash, which is exactly the same values that they were listed right here from runner hash. So that's pretty cool. So we have a couple different ways we can interact. We can interact with the web interface with our Rails applications. We can interact from the script console, but also using the script runner, we can interact from the shell, from the command line. That's awesome. So how is this helpful? How can this help us to solve something or to do something cool? Well, let's play a little bit with Ruby code. A little while ago, when we start this screencast, we showed this code. Some of the required, generate an MD5 hash, and it put it right there. Let's change the code a little bit. Let's go ahead and assign an array. Let's see. let's call it my 10b.rb. Basically, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. Actually, instead of the type, let's create an array with an alphabet from A to C and later from the numbers from 0 to 9. In order to generate it without having to type it, of course I know everybody can type it, we can just generate this in a variable and run from A to C, convert it to an array, and from numbers 0 to 9, and do the same thing. Now the variable at ABC is going to be the first array plus the second array. Is going to concatenate the two arrays, and later we're going to put it to a block. The block ABC for each of the records is going to do in the variable, and it's going to print it. Let's go ahead and run it real quick. And let me do some more here. Okay, here we go. Without having to type, there's all the alphabet and together with the strings from 0 to 9. So this is pretty cool because this can help us to build some kind of dictionary. So how about if we take the same code and modify a little bit. And let's see. This is requiring the library from the previous script for the MD5 hash. The same variables, ABC, generating the same alphabet from A to C, the number 0 to 9, same sequence, concatenating those two, same block, but actually the code changed here a little bit. In this block, instead of just put A, we are making the variable MD5A underscore A, the function that we saw in the first script, which is the MD5 hash from whatever the variable A is running. We got it right there. And later, we just put another variable called myRunner, which is going to be the Ruby script runner on environment development. And actually, this should be together to this. Here we go. And we are parsing on this the function MD5 create, and we're creating the password and the hash, which is the calculated hash, and we're passing the variable. I'm just looking at this. Okay. This quote is what is going to be executed by the runner. This little quote is going to execute everything that is underneath, and it's going to be closing right here at the end. And the other quote is the runner. Actually, is just assigned to the variable. When I just put the runner, let me comment this one here for now. And what happens if I run this? Wow. So basically, for each of the variables of the array we just generate, it's creating the MD5 hash, and it's just putting it right there. That's pretty cool. Now, what happened if we use from the percentage %x that we saw on one of the previous screencasts, and we execute it? Would that be pretty cool, wouldn't it? What is going to happen as we go, A, B, C, on the fly is going to start generating all the hash and inserting data into a Rails application. Well, how awesome is that? It's pretty simple right now. The number of processes is not really a lot, but we can expand this, we can grow this, we can actually generate our own dictionary for as many words, as big as we wanted, and who knows, we might be able to get, if we have enough time, memory, processor, hard drive space, database allocation, and all the good stuff, we might be able to come up with a number as good as this billion, trillion, all this huge has. It might be able to retrieve it. We just create in no time something pretty simple, and insert into a Rails application. So eventually, with the right resources and RAM, this can be pretty useful. Nice validation can be in place and it be subjected to the Rails validations, and that's pretty cool. So I saw a little gem called it Faker with Ryan Bates in one of the screencasts, and he was using it. I really like it a lot. But this is a little bit different than a Faker. You're actually defining what you want to put into your MD5 hash. Let's go and continue with the last example here. So what is the last part? The last script is something pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and again, this is just the proof of concept. Basically, we have an array A, B, C, D, A to C, number 0 to 1. We assign the variable, and now we're nesting. We have nested blocks, one after another, after another, after another. We have 3 levels out of the same array. So what I want to do is I want to create all the combinations, all the possible combinations on those 3 variables. Imagine if I want to find the first 3 characters for the .com. I have the extension .com, have www something, nesting on A, nesting on B, nesting on C, .com. Of course, there's .net, .org, you name it. My command is going to be a basic command, which could be a dig plus short. This is a command line. I saw there was a whois Ruby gem out there that you can just do gem install whois, and you'll be able to do call some, well, requiring the library. You can just put a whois and whois in some domain, and it will retrieve some results if it's available or not. So you can find out, of course, the first 3 characters domain.com are used, but you know, you can expand from 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and see what this does. Wow. Let me run it again. So it generates every single execution. I can actually redirect this one to my 10d.s shell script. And wow, it's going to start. Well, I need to get something more elaborated to actually retrieve some more relevant data and be able to insert it. But of course, you saw the concept. Everything that is running here, if you generate long enough characters, you'll be able to insert into your Rails application and maybe just validate if it's available or not available. You know, you can populate all kinds of data running from the command line. But look, of course, I mean, this is a basic program, just a follow-up, putting a practical applications on things. This one even looks kind of like a pyramid, like a vertical pyramid. Is ugly, and I can see a lot of people criticizing and see this as not the way, not the programming, object-oriented programming way. I can see this a lot of duplicity into the nesting all the blocks together. This might be able to call with lambdas and doing a recursive functions one after another, listing it. That way you can tell, so, you know, generate from this one all the 3 times or 4 times, 5, 6, 7, 20 times, all the words that you can. There's in teachme.com, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I don't know, we can generate 20 characters.com, .net, .org, and that will generate a heck of a dictionary for doing some things and be able to populate data for your application, do some checks. I don't know, if somebody again is interested, that'd be one way to do it. Optimize the code. This is just again for basic, for beginners, just to see the concept, see how can be populated in a MD5 hash application. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like it. And if you have any questions and comments, please feel free to put your comments and or send an email. We'll be more than happy to help you and assist you. Thank you, and thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing, and you have a great day. Bye bye.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!